Oh, I just got done with a meeting with like a brand and a planner because they're doing like a brand activation in Dallas for St. Patrick's Day, I think. And it went really well. So hopefully they book me.
That's amazing.
Mackenzie said, the planner, Mackenzie said that they, like a few texts ago, she said that they wanted to move forward, but they just hadn't paid the invoice yet. So it's like a possibility that it's still maybe not going to be happening, but
So
I think it is going to happen. It's just like they just haven't paid the invoice, so it's like not permanent yet. If that makes sense.
What kind of shoot is it?
It's like it's just like an event. Kind of like the one you did a while ago, it's just like a brand doing like a
the Flora one that I did.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So they're doing like should I say the company? I don't know. Maybe I'll say it after.
Bleep it out.
Yeah. To our 20 listeners. Oh my gosh, as if they're gonna like go spread the word or something. Well, they're just having like a brand like little activation is the only way I can describe it, where
Like a
they're just
pop-up?
it's kind of like a pop-up, but it's like gonna be at a St. Patty's parade, so it's just gonna be a part of this like bigger thing, and they're just gonna have like products that people can try. They're giving away things, and so I'm excited just to be like the photographer for like a brand, because I've never done anything like that. And I was just like, this morning I almost like I was just so overwhelmed because I hadn't written anything that I needed to do down, or what I think is what happened, where it was just like so many little things in my brain that I needed to get done today. And I was freaking out because we were supposed to record the podcast like hours ago, but then I was like, oh my gosh, no, I have this meeting that I have to attend that I can't be late for. And then I was just like, oh my gosh, we're going to have to like record the podcast, and then I'm immediately going to have to jump on this meeting. And so I was just like, just freaking out like over nothing really, but it just like felt so overwhelming, and I just needed to like write down what I needed to do. Everything that I needed to do isn't even that big of a deal. It's just like I was just like in my brain. I think it was just like everything was just in my brain, and I was just like ready to burst because I was like, how am I supposed to get any of this done?
Wait, why are we the same person? Literally yesterday and today I made lists in my phone because I even wrote like shower, go to Pilates, do the laundry, because I just felt like everything was so overwhelming.
Yes.
And making a list just really helps. I like clicking it off, like checking it off.
Yes.
When you're done.
It did help just because I feel like I hadn't brain dumped in a while. And so it was just like all floating like in my brain. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to explode if this doesn't like just like, I don't know, get written down somewhere, or just like, I don't know. I just needed to like calm myself down. And I also used the app Activations. Do you remember that app?
Oh, yeah, the meditations.
Yes. The founder was on a podcast that I listened to called Pretty Basic, and she founded the app. And I found the app like a long time ago, but it was a different name. So I don't know what happened with that. It used to be called Superhuman, and it's just like a meditation app. And then when I listened to the podcast, when she finally said the name, I was like, oh my gosh, let me see if this is any different than the other app. And it's literally the same app, just a different name.
She rebranded?
Yeah, so it was really cool that I didn't even know who the founder was, but then saw the podcast and then just kind of got reintroduced to the app, and then also just like kind of saw what the founder was like and what she did to kind of like build her business. But I love the app because it's like different meditations for just like different things going on in your life. So she had one that was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher like the title, but it was just like basically like de-stress before a big meeting, or like, if you're going to like on your commute, you can listen to a meditation that's like 30 minutes, or they have ones that are like 3 minutes. So you'll always be able to find one for like the thing that you need, which is really, really cool. And so I just used like I think it was like 8 minutes. So I just used
Did it help?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
so cool.
Because I like wrote everything that I needed to do down. And then I was like, I need to calm down. I don't know. And it was so weird because nothing is like urgent or like life or death. but it almost felt like that. And I hadn't been this overwhelmed in a long time. Like, I mean, I think like 2 weeks ago, I was like, oh, I'm peaceful. Like, I'm good. And then today I was like about to like crash out because I had to freaking do like 3 little things that just needed to be written down. And so I was just like, this morning was just kind of a mess. And I almost just kind of gave up and just like kind of froze and was just like, maybe I just need a nap. But no, I did not need a nap. I just needed to kind of get into the flow, do a couple things. I did that meditation to just kind of like chill the F out. And it did work. It's just so good to just have someone else like telling you things. Like she kind of like walks you through the meditation and it's not long. And yeah, so I highly recommend. It's kind of expensive, but I do really think it's worth it for like times like that where you're like, oh my gosh, I need something to calm me down. Or
I think when my TBM membership ends in like May, I think I'm gonna stop paying for that and start doing the activations.
Yes, I love it because it really is for anything. Like they have one for when you're getting ready, they have one for when you're working out, or just like I said, like before a big meeting, before anything, like you can use it for your sessions. When I first started photography, I kind of did it my own way. Whenever I would get nervous for a session, I would just like send my card like 30 minutes before and just kind of like breathe in, breathe out. That's what I used to do because I used to get really, really nervous before my sessions. And so I just kind of like stood in my car and was just like, okay, breathe, you can do this. And I just kind of like walked myself through it. But it's nice to have someone else doing it too. And you can just like quickly like choose a 3-minute one and be like, okay, I think I'm good. Like I just needed to breathe and just be okay with what's going on. Like it is not life or death. You're not going to die, which I don't know why it feels like that for like silly little things. It was just, yeah, I just needed to write things down and just calm down for a minute. And the meeting went great too. So I think maybe it was just like the meeting was just kind of like making me overwhelmed because I've never worked with anyone like this and, you know, imposter syndrome because I don't actually do stuff like that. I'm just a wedding photographer. I am a wedding photographer, but like this is completely different than what I do. And they're a pretty big brand, I would say, but just like so different than what I do like day to day. And so maybe that was a part of it too. I don't know. It was just rough. But I can breathe now. It's over now. I feel good. Yeah, I feel good now. After that meeting, I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I just needed to talk to someone and not be in my own head. Yeah. Too. So it was good. But how are you? How's Pilates? Pilates princess.
Pilates is going so well.
Really? I love that for you.
At the point where I can kind of do most of the progressions, which is a flex because I've only been going for like a month and a half. Okay. And when I first started, I could do 0 progressions. Like it's so hard. Yeah. But I'm feeling very strong. So good. The gift that you got from our registry came today.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I was able to carry it up the stairs by myself because I have muscles now. Wow. And that is literally
strong, independent woman. She does not need a man. That is awesome. Oh my gosh. Do you have to build it?
Yeah, but Ian's going to build it.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not doing that.
You need a man for that. You need a man for that. Oh, that was so funny. Oh my gosh. Yay. Well, that's exciting. Yeah. What are you going to use it for? Or do you know yet?
Yes, we have a bunch of like, we don't have any storage in my apartment.
That's why I got it. Because I was like, I feel like I always need storage. And I was like, you know, people always need something to store stuff in.
Especially like our office supplies and just like random shit that we have in our closet. Yes. I'm excited to like pull out and like have a designated drawer for.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yay, that's good. And then Miranda has her bachelorette party.
Bachelorette.
Yeah.
I'm a bride.
I guess it's not technically a party. It's just like a day. What? I don't know. It's like a chill little meetup with the girls.
We're going to have dinner and then we're going to like a spa place.
Which is going to be so nice.
My kind of vibe.
I'm definitely going to need that. I'm definitely going to need that after this week. I don't know. I just feel this week just has been kind of like overwhelming. Yesterday I had a bridal session, which wasn't like anything crazy, but it was an hour away. The session was an hour, and then it took me an hour and a half to get home. So it was just like my whole day was just that. And I was just like, Miranda was texting me, and then I had to do stuff for the podcast, and it was just like little things were just getting to me, and I don't know why.
It's because like when we're in kind of like a slow season, and then we randomly have something to do, it feels very extra.
Yes.
Whereas like when you're in busy season, you're just used to like
doing
things all the
it.
time.
Yeah, I think, yeah, because I'm about to get into my busy season in March. And so it's starting.
Yeah.
This week was definitely like the week that was just like, okay, we're getting into things right now. So
Yeah.
it definitely is going to take maybe this week to just kind of like, I don't know, not normalize, but just like kind of bring my nervous system into, okay, we had 2 good months of just chill, but now we gotta work. Gotta hustle a little bit. We have things to do, brides to see. And so, yeah, I'm good. Sorry, I feel like so chaotic. I'm just like, my brain is just crazy today. But yeah, we have that. And then what else do we have this week? Tomorrow we're gonna gonna work on our workflows and things like that. So I'm excited for that. We're gonna go to the Virgin Hotel, right?
The Funny Library cafe place.
So good.
It's so cute in there. And I was telling you, was I telling you this or someone else? But it's very like inspiring to just sit in there and see the different people that walk in. Or like the different guests that are staying at the hotel. Like, it's just, I don't know.
It's just a vibe.
It's very expansive.
I love the aesthetic too. And yeah, just being able to like pretend like you're staying there. And yeah.
Also, I love the baristas there. They're so
create
funny.
a world. Oh, really?
Yeah, they're so cute. Last time I was in there, one of the baristas, because I ordered a decaf latte because I'm not drinking caffeine, and he was like, "Are you just doing a detox or do you never drink caffeine?" I was like, "I'm doing a detox. I'm not drinking alcohol either." And he was like, "Oh, I've been sober for a year." And then he was just like chatty.
Oh, I love it.
It was just a vibe. So
yeah.
I'm excited to
go
go
also,
back.
I just need to get out of my house. I feel like I've been cooped up for a while and I just need to go explore.
The winter blues are starting to hit.
Yeah, I just need to go explore, just see people, talk to people, and not be in my room just doing work stuff. Because then I'm just going to get burnt out. So yeah, I need to go explore the world, which I'm excited. So yeah, that's going to happen this week. And I just feel like there's just been so much going on this week, but I think that's it. Oh, I was going to tell you about the wedding my sister did the other week where I sent you that screenshot. So my sister texts me in it all caps, girl. And anytime she sends me that, it's just like this. Steph always has something going on at her weddings. Like if it's not one thing, it's the other. She always has a story to tell from our weddings, which is so funny because I feel like I never have a story from my weddings. They all just like seem, I don't know, they're all just like nothing ever really happens that's like, oh my God, I have to tell you this story. And so when she sent me like girl in all caps, I was like, I just said ha 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 because I knew she was going to tell me something that was just like ridiculous or just something that happened to her during the wedding day or a vendor just being just absolutely crazy. But then, hold on, let me read the text that she sent me because it was just wild. Well, if I can find it. Oh my gosh, do we text that much? Oh, okay, here it is. The next text after I said ha ha ha, and it was like 15 minutes after I sent that, she said the photographer got the dress so dirty, nightmare. I almost had a panic attack. And I was like, oh, this isn't funny. That was like my first reaction. I was like, oops, I should not have laughed at her send me that. But she didn't give me any context, okay?
Yeah.
So I didn't know what she was about to say. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Like, because I mean, for her to be like having a panic attack at a wedding, it's like, I don't think she would tell me that as like just like, haha, like almost had a panic attack because this happened. And so of course she's at the wedding, so she can't like explain everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what happened? Like, did you take a photo of it? Like, I need videos, like send me everything. But she just decided to call me after the wedding. And so she said that the photographer, hold on, let me get this story straight. Okay, so Steph was with the groomsmen while the photographer was with the bride because she had to do something with the groomsmen. Maybe like they're getting ready before she heads up with the bride to help her get in her dress. And so they were at like 2 separate locations. And then Steph goes up to the bridal suite and doesn't see the photographer. And so
for context, Steph is a content creator.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes. She's a content creator. So she's also doing, I mean, she's That doesn't matter. Anyways, my brain is just everywhere right now. Okay, so she goes to the bridal suite and asks the bride, "Oh, where's like the photographer?" Because when she was gonna go up there, they were supposed to already be like getting ready and putting the bride into the dress. And the bride's like, "Oh, she went to go take photos of the dress." And so Steph goes and finds her, and I guess she's outside by this fence. And so the photographer hung the dress on a fence. And then as Steph was walking towards the photographer's like, "Oh my gosh," like freaking out as she's looking at the back of the dress, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, the dress is so dirty." And Steph is like, "What do you mean? Like, I took it out of the bag, like it wasn't dirty when we took it out of the bag." Because I guess she like took the dress out earlier in the day, and she was like, "There wasn't anything on it." And she was like, "It was probably the fence that got the dress dirty." And she said like the back of the dress was just completely like smeared.
Oh,
And the photographer was like, "Oh my gosh, what are we going to do?" And Steph, of course, in her head, she didn't say this out loud, but she was like, I didn't do this." But it's like, she can't just leave her there and be like, "Figure it out. Like, it's not my problem."
oh my
Because,
God.
Steph is a good wedding vendor. She cares about her clients. She's very like problem solving. Like, even though she's not the planner, like she can handle situations really, really well. And so Steph's like, "Oh my gosh, okay, let me go get a Tide pen. Like, let me go see what I can find in my car." Because since it was on a fence, I guess Steph said that there was like splinters. There was just like, just stuff that rubs on a fence onto like it was probably a satin dress. I'm just assuming it was, just because most dresses are. And so she goes to her car, gets the Tide pen. And at this time, the bride was already supposed to be getting in her dress. So it's like she has to clean it, but also make sure that the bride isn't like freaking out and being like, "Where are they? Like, why are we
Oh my
taking so
God.
long?" Because, they have a timeline. And if she was already supposed to be in her dress like 10 minutes ago, like what's taking them so long to take one picture of the dress?
This is giving me so much anxiety. Like, what would you do? Like, would you tell the bride that you? I mean, I would tell the bride.
I don't know.
Are they trying to clean it without her
Like,
knowing?
yes. Yeah. So Steph gets the Tide pen, and she's like trying to like take the stickers out or whatever, or not the stickers, but like the splinters of the wooden fence, and like trying to like, clean the dress. And she said it was wet because of, do you know how a Tide pen works?
Yeah.
It's like you just squeeze like whatever comes out of the Tide pen, and then you just kind of like almost like an eraser erase it. And she said it was working. It was just getting the dress a little wet because of the liquid that comes out of the Tide pen. And so it was working. And so they got it to be pretty good. But then Steph was like, "We can't tell the bride. Like, she's going to freak out there. Like, there's just no way we can tell the bride." And so then the photographer agrees. So they kick like the bridesmaids out. They turn the lights down low, like just so the bride does not see what's about to happen, or like her dress got dirty. And I don't know if it was like really, really bad, or if it was just kind of like, I don't know, like a little smear or something where they were able to take it out. It was just like, it just looked a little wet because of the Tide pen. But thankfully the bride did not know. And it was fine. Like, I'm
That's
sure.
so
And Steph
stressful.
was saying that the photographer kind of like did panic and was just like kind of like in her own world and just kept like talking. And Steph was like, "Please stop. Like, I'm trying to figure this out." Like, um, just like, and I'm sure the photographer, I mean, if I were her, I probably would have just like, well, I don't know. I'm a pretty good problem solver, but just, I don't want to like say that this photographer was like negligent or like, didn't know what she was doing. But it just, when you're the photographer and you make a mistake, you have to be the problem solver. You cannot just be
Right.
like, just,
Thank God Steph was there.
exactly. You can't just, what's the word? Like, you can't, not let go, but shut down. You can't
Yeah.
shut down in that moment, because you have to figure out what to do next. And so Steph was just kind of like helping her through it too, because I mean, this photographer was panicked. I mean, who wouldn't be? Like, she kind of made a mistake, and so it was just like anybody could have made that mistake. But it's also a lesson in like, we do weddings like every weekend. We're so used to them. And I think sometimes we forget that these events are really, really important. And so it's just like a lesson of like, maybe don't put the dress in danger, or like in a situation where if you drop it, it lands in mud, or if you drag it, it'll get dirty, just because, you know, people spend so much money on these things, and just because you do it every weekend doesn't mean that they do. And so it's just kind of like a learning lesson to everyone. Just like, you don't have to, the shot is not that important.
Yes.
So I don't want to blame the photographer. Like, this isn't me. Like, I don't want it to seem like I'm talking crap about this photographer. It's just like a learning lesson to all of us, because I kind of sometimes forget that, you know, these people do, like, this is a once in a lifetime event for them, even though I do it like every single weekend. It just seems like normal. But yeah, just to like remember not to do things that are risky.
That reminds me of that one video where they hung the dress on the sprinkler.
The hotel sprinkler.
And the sprinklers went off.
Yes, run the whole day, basically. Yeah. Yeah, Steph literally brought it up, and she was like, oh my gosh, did you not see the... Well, she didn't say this to the photographer, but like in her head and talking to me, she was like, did you not see that reel or like that TikTok that ruined the whole wedding day because everyone was wet? And I was like, wait, that's so true. And so, yeah, it's just a lesson not to, you know, do anything crazy or like put the dress on anything that could be potentially dirty. Especially in, I don't know, well, I was going to say especially in Texas, but like literally anywhere.
Literally anywhere outside.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was the craziest story. Steph always has the wildest stories. It's crazy. But, and also carry a Tide pin. Because Tide pins have been like saved the day before. Like, I've had brides like have makeup on their hands, and they'll touch their dress, and then they'll see like a thumbprint on their dress because they like, you know, are crying, or they're touching their face, the oils, and they get it on their dress. And so just having a Tide pin too is always like really, really good to have on hand. Like, whether you're a photographer or not, I think you should always have that just for personal use too. So yeah, that was a story with my sister. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have done, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know what I would have done either. I don't know if I've ever been in a situation where it was like that, I don't know, that intense.
Yeah. Or like made a mistake that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
That's kind of scary.
I know. It is really scary. So just, you know, just make sure you're not doing anything crazy on wedding days. Yeah. I guess that wasn't that crazy. She probably does that every single weekend where she's like, you know, hanging the dress somewhere. But I don't know, just always make sure that things are not dirty. It's a white dress. Like, honestly, I don't even like taking it anywhere anymore. Like, I just leave it where it is.
Yeah.
I don't want to move it. I don't want to carry it. I don't want to get this thing dirty, especially like before the wedding day.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even do dress shots.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I really do them either unless it's already there and ready for me to photograph. But yeah, it was just crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, that's a nightmare. Oh my gosh. But I think that's all my updates, all my stories that I had.
All your updates?
Yeah.
I'm
pretty sure.
One update that I really wanted to talk about, and that was I started a Substack publication, which is going to be kind of what we talk about today with like our marketing strategy.
Yes.
I'm really excited about it. It's called POV Wedding Photographer. So.
Oh, wait. Okay, this is news to me.
Yeah, I changed the name.
Oh my gosh, guys. Okay.
So I was actually reading a Substack by this like really well-renowned author, and she made a post. She titled it, "The Number One Mistake I See New People on Substack Making."
Ooh, okay.
And the mistake was to just naming a publication like your name.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And it was really funny because when I first started it, it was XOXO Mimi, because Mimi is what my like nieces and nephews call me.
Yes.
And I always sign my emails XOXO. And this author was saying that her very first Substack, she named it XO her name.
Really?
And she was like, because I signed all my emails XO. And I was like, oh, don't call me out like that.
Not her reading me.
Literally. And she was just saying how that's just like a really big mistake because Substack will actually push out your articles to people. Like, that's kind of like their algorithm.
Okay.
But they only push out articles that are like, or publications that are very niche and like, it's kind of in the name what they're about.
I see. Yeah.
And so if it's just your name, like, it's not going to get pushed out to anyone.
Yeah. And I think with something like that, you would have already had a personal brand to be able to push out just like your personal things and people knowing like what XOXO Mimi was.
Right.
So,
and since it's something very new, it's
yeah.
like, what
Yeah.
even is that?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No one would like care almost.
Yeah.
So
Not
I
that changed
people wouldn't care about you.
Well,
I don't want people to think I'm just like, I don't know. I always feel like mean. I don't know why. Anytime that like we talk on the podcast, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm judging Miranda so hard right now, and I don't mean to.
You're not me.
I know, but it just, I don't know. I just feel like that sometimes where I'm like, not me judging everything that she does. Oh my gosh.
No. But so I changed the name to Point of View Wedding Photographer.
Oh my gosh.
So like
okay.
wedding photographer's in the name.
Okay.
So
yes.
it's like
yes.
very
yes.
like,
so people will know exactly
Yes.
what they're tuning in
Yeah.
to. Okay. Yeah. See, that makes sense.
So I'm very excited.
Yeah. So what's the update? Like you're just gonna change what you're writing about too, or is it just kind of like?
Well, I changed the name and I was kind of almost gonna go like a personal like blog route, but now I think it's gonna be a great tool for marketing my wedding photography business. I want to talk about just like thoughts and points of view from as a wedding photographer.
Yes.
My first post that I wrote the other day was all about how shooting like personal work has influenced my wedding work. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'll talk about it a little bit more.
Okay. Oh my gosh, no, I'm so excited because that's news to me. I didn't know you were changing it. No, I love that because just in marketing terms, I do think that'll do a lot better than what you were trying to do before because yeah, people will know exactly like if they see wedding photographer or like wedding stories in the name or just weddings in general, I think brides will want to read, and even wedding photographers I think will want to read, or other photographers that are interested in weddings would love to read something like that. So I think that's a genius idea.
And I think further down the road, you can have like paid subscribers.
Yes.
That will get like exclusive content. And I think for my paid posts, I want to write things specifically for like other photographers.
Okay. That was my next question. I was going to say, who are you marketing this towards?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think all my free stuff will be just like for anyone, brides mostly.
Yeah.
Or anyone interested.
In the point of view.
Yeah, in the point of view. And then like behind the paywall would be like just for photographers.
Education stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's genius. I love that idea. That's so good.
I'm
Miranda.
excited. And I haven't been like excited about something like this in a long time. So
yes.
And I feel like I'm just going to ride the wave with it. If I'm really into it, I'm just riding
Might
with it.
as well. And anything that feels easy, especially for us, I do think always works out. Even if it doesn't feel like it's going to gain traction at the beginning or anything like that. I think just riding the wave and like feeling excited about it is definitely going to do something, whether it leads you to something else or whether it leads you to having like 10 million subscribers on there, then that's what it does, you know? So I love that idea. I think that's going to be such a great tool for you to do.
Even just to like express myself and like practice writing.
Yeah. Well, and also you can still do personal stuff on there too, if you're wanting to as well. So that'll be really great, which leads us into our topic for today, which is social media, right?
Yeah, marketing
and just
strategies.
Our social media strategies. I have been kind of struggling in that department, not as far as like I know what to do, I have all the knowledge for it, but I've just been struggling with like showing up for some reason. I think I talked about it about this too in the past, where it was just kind of like I just feel shy and not ready to post anything, and I wasn't sure really why I was shy or just like anxious to post. I think it's just because I am very like not aware of what people think of me, but I like always think about what other people are thinking of me, which is so weird because I really, in the past, I was not like that before. And it definitely started when I first moved here, and just being like the new kid in the market was just like very like overwhelming. And so this year I'm just kind of like, I'm just gonna do it. I don't care. And definitely like the podcast has helped too, just like kind of like start being out there and being like exposed and being seen. So that's definitely helped with like that mindset of like, who cares? Like, I'm just gonna post what I want. And so my social media strategy is basically, first off, just to start posting. Like, it's not gonna be anything like crazy right now, but just like start posting. And I'm gonna start posting like 500,000 followers. Like, I'm the most popular photographer in town. I'm just gonna start. I'm not gonna do a reintroduction or like a start over kind of thing. I'm just gonna be posting like I've been posting every day for like the past 10 years.
I love it.
Like, I'm just not gonna care about what I'm doing or what other people think, because at the end of the day, they don't pay my bills. So why should I care what they think of me? At all.
They're not really thinking that hard about
anything. They're not. They're thinking about themselves. And even if they are thinking of me, let them.
Let them. What's her name? Mel Robbins?
Mel Robbins.
Let them.
Just let them. And let me just be whoever I want to be on the internet. So my social media strategy starting like this week is going to be, because I think I want to work on that on Friday, since we're working on our workflows on Thursday. On Friday, I really want to create almost like a schedule for me to do, because I really just want to start maybe even just posting every day, almost just to get into the habit of doing it. Because right now I don't have that habit. And so I need to just get into the habit of doing posting first. And then really, after like maybe posting for like a month consistently, then going in and like refining things and like what did well and how can I change things. Do I need to make more reels, more TikToks? And this strategy is going to go towards my photography account, but also I really do want to work on like my photography education account as well. But mostly photography is what I'm focusing on right now. And then the back, I'll focus on my education stuff a little bit less, but I really just want to get into the habit of posting.
Yeah.
Because the reason I hadn't been posting either is because we added the podcast. And so now that I'm in a flow with that, it feels easy. I know what days I really want to do, like work on the podcast, edit the podcast, do social media for the podcast. I have like a good workflow for that now. And I think it's because we're so organized with it too.
We're
like,
so organized.
We really are. We have like documents for each episode. We have checklists for each thing. I know how to edit it really well and easily. So we have just like a really good organized workflow for it. And I think that's why it does so well and why we've been so consistent with it. And I need to bring that energy into like my other like social media for photography and stuff like that. So hopefully that made sense.
It did.
Okay.
Yes. I love it. I kind of wanted to talk about this concept of 3D content. Have you heard that?
I haven't heard it in that phrasing, but I have done that before.
Okay, perfect. So this is basically what I have been implementing and what I'm going to continue to do for 2025 in my marketing and social media strategies. 3D content is basically creating one piece of long form content, whether that's a blog post, a podcast, a YouTube video, whatever it is that you want it to be. You can make it whatever you want. And then from that long piece of content, you create little clips, or you can grab different ideas from that one piece of content and use those for all the other social media platforms. So it's really helpful because you only have to make one piece of content.
Yes.
And so for me, that's going to be my Substack.
Yes.
Or if you don't have a Substack, it can be your blog on your website. And so that's like super helpful because I just have to think about, okay, I just need to make one piece of content this week. And then, so for the post that I just wrote, I was able to basically, you have it all transcribed right there. I just kind of like said the same thing in video form for a TikTok.
Yeah, which is genius because
Yeah.
you can take the blog post, you can make it into a TikTok, you can make it into like a still post, and then you can also make it into a carousel.
Yeah.
So it's like you can make 3 different pieces of content from one piece of content.
Yeah. And if it's a super long form content, like a whole blog post or a whole podcast, and you talk about multiple things in that one piece of content, you have
So much to
so
talk
many
about.
snippets that you can post for like a week.
Which I think a lot of people, that's like their number one struggle that I've seen is like, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know
Right.
what to post on my caption. Like, I don't know what to talk about. And I get it. Like, I feel like that sometimes too. But once you already have one piece of content created, you just take snippets of whatever you posted and go into, that can go into a caption. You can make a transcript for a reel or whatever you want to do. So it makes it really, really easy to create a lot of content from one piece, which is really amazing.
And so for my long pieces of, or my long form contents that I am creating, I'm writing and I'm also including images. And so those images you can go ahead and pin on Pinterest. And so that's just another way of like diversifying that one piece of content. And so basically this is just a way to recycle content so you aren't having to reinvent the wheel every time you want to post on a platform. It's a good way to diversify your marketing so that when TikTok shuts down again and you're not like focused on one platform.
Yeah, I think that's the best part of it
Yeah.
is that not only are you making different types of content, but you're also able to post them on different platforms too. So it could be like TikTok, Instagram, Substack, your blog. So that's already 4 different pieces of content from the
Pinterest.
same thing,
Yeah.
but you're putting it out into different platforms, which diversifies your entire marketing strategy, which is really, really good.
And it's so overwhelming to think, I have to post on Pinterest. I have to make a TikTok. I have to make a blog post. You just have to do one and everything else is just easier.
Yeah, because you already have the concept. You already know what you're going to talk about because of that longer form piece of content. So it does make things easier if you do struggle with like what to post or how many times you're posting or where to post, things like that. And it can just be easy too whenever you first start out. You don't have to do every single platform
Right.
every single time. Like that can be a little bit overwhelming. But if you're already doing a blog, you might as well just do an Instagram post of the same thing. So,
And you're also reaching different audiences too. So it's, I think when I first heard this concept, I was kind of put off of it because I was like, I don't want to bombard everyone with like the same things over and over again. But different people follow you on different platforms. So they're not all seeing it across, like, you know what I mean?
yeah. Well, and also you're getting new followers, you're getting old followers. Like you're trying to build a community and people that understand what your brand is. And the more you post about it, the more you educate, the more that you're just like involving people in your process, the more they understand you and the more they'll want to book you. Because if they don't know anything about your brand and they don't trust you, they're not probably gonna book you, or they're gonna book you and then not trust you.
Yeah.
Which is the worst.
And I also wanted to say, if you are having trouble like coming up with an idea of like what to write about, if you're going to make a blog post, just use AI. Like literally ChatGPT. I'm a wedding photographer and I want to create a marketing strategy. Tell me what I should be writing about.
Yeah.
They'll give you so many different prompts.
Yeah, exactly. So really, honestly, this day and age, there is no excuse.
There is no excuse.
And I'm talking to myself too, guys. Like I'm not just saying like, oh yeah, do this. No, I'm talking to myself too because there's really no reason for you not to be doing things when everything, like all this technology that we have makes it so easy. And once you get an idea, just write about it again and again and again because like I said, there's always going to be new followers and new people like connecting with your connecting with your social media platforms that don't know who you are. So them reading that, they're going to know who you are. So it's always like you always have to think about like who's going to be landing on your page. And even if the old followers like have already read about you, I don't know, about your blog about like how to choose a location and you're repeating that, that's okay. Like it's not going to turn them off or like it's not going to be like, oh my gosh, she's talking about this again. Like you're a photographer, of course you're talking about it again.
Yeah.
Like
if anything, it reminds them like, oh yeah, I remember. Like you have to see something 7 times to remember it anyways.
yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. And for people to trust you, you need to be putting out content too, because, you know, sometimes I'll follow someone and then forget they exist until they post something. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I wanted that. Let me go buy it right now.
Right.
And same thing goes with services. So
yeah,
I think that's beautifully put.
Yeah. So I'm really excited because I used to just like post on Instagram every single day and just wish that something would happen.
Don't we all? I think we all start off like that.
Yeah. And I got really burnt out doing that too.
Yeah.
Like last year I used to post like 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And it would just be like a random photo with a random caption. And I'm like,
hopefully someone books.
Yeah. Didn't get any inquiries today. Wonder why.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people do that too, where they just post to post. Like they don't really have like a strategy or like anything to post about. They're just like, let me just get this photo out. And that's really not the greatest strategy. I mean, honestly, if you're not doing anything, I guess that's better than not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's to just post. But having like a strategy like that is going to help you in the long run. But yeah, I guess it's better than not doing anything. Hello, Layla. My dog is just about to make herself at home. I wonder if you can see her in the video. That's so funny. Is there anything else that you wanted to say about?
No, that's all I had on 3D content. Just
okay, 3D content.
Yeah, start doing it, girlies.
Okay, that's a good phrase for it. I've never heard it like that. I guess I've never had a name for it, but I've always known about it.
I don't know where I picked that up from. Someone was talking about it and they said it was called some guru 3D content, and it just always stuck in my brain.
Okay, that's good. That's good to remember. So my social media strategy, like I said earlier, is just going to be like, I have 1 million followers. I'm the most popular photographer in town. Like, I'm not going to care what anybody thinks. Like, that is the attitude that I'm showing up as. Like, I'm not going to be doing any reintroductions or like, hey, haven't been here in a while. No.
Don't do that.
Exactly. So I'm just going to go for it. And I think just having that confidence will do really good, because honestly, I do get inquiries like every week. And it's just from like the relationships I built, my website, the blogging I've done, the Pinteresting I've done, the what else? The Instagram posts that I already have on my Instagram do really well. So thankfully, I've built my business enough for that to happen, where I don't have to post every day or do anything like that. But I'm trying to hustle this year. I'm trying to girl boss. And so I want to book my ideal clients. I want to book more. I want to do a lot more. And so just, posting on social media is going to help me with my goals. So I am ready to start doing that. And one of the things that I did want to talk about is just like becoming organized with social media. And like I said earlier, where people just don't know what to post about, or they're just like, I don't know what to write with this caption, or like they're also one of the things that I used to be afraid of is like posting the same wedding or same session again, if that makes sense. Like I would like post one wedding and then never post any of the other photos again, even though there's like literally thousands of photos. Yeah, so dumb. And so that's something that I also want to do is like,
I know a lot of people feel that way though.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know why we think that we can't ever post it again when there's so many more images in that gallery that would be so good to post. But anyway, so I wanted to talk about types of content that you can cycle through.
Yes.
Because these are really good for you to just have like ideas and like write down ideas of like what you could do with these types of content. And so the types of content is educational content, inspirational content, relatable content, entertaining content, and then selling your services. So just like selling content. And so the first one with educational content, this is like where you're like teaching and adding value. This is what's going to like position you as the expert in your field, whether it's like you're doing weddings or family photography, boudoir, or anything. If you're doing all of it, you should be like just sharing photography tips, like planning advice for your couples or your clients, and just like insights on your creative process and how you work as a photographer, because again, not every photographer works the exact same way. So you really want to put out like how you work, what you do on wedding days, what you do at a family session, how you help your clients. And so educating that through your content is going to be so good. I think honestly, if you were to just do education content, it like would work wonders for social media.
And it's not like educational, like towards other photographers.
Yes. Yeah. Because that's not who you're marketing towards.
Yeah. I feel like some people get that mixed up.
Yes.
And they start just posting tips for other photographers, but you can still educate your clients through posts.
Yes, exactly. And unless you're like a mentor or like wanting to be an educator, you shouldn't really be posting tips for other photographers, because they're not your client.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't post for other photographers. Honestly, that's why I keep mine separate. But so like, for example, like a post that you could do is like 3 posing tips to make anyone look confident in photos. And so then you go through like the 3 tips in your caption, or a carousel post, or even reels is a really good way to show your face, show your personality, and show how you talk, and kind of, so there's different ways that you could even do it. You can make a reel. Well, let's do the 3D face, or what is it called?
3D content.
3D content. So you can make a blog post, how to feel more confident in photos. Then you can make a reel. Then you can make a TikTok. And the reel and TikTok could be the same, actually.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to make two different pieces of content. You can make a carousel that you do the next week. You can make just like a still photo and just put the tips in the caption. So that's already so many
posts that you have.
So many posts. Put that on Pinterest. Like, good to go. It really can be that easy.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Some people just make it so hard, and I don't know why. I think maybe, we just make things overwhelming, and it shouldn't be that. It should be as easy as like, oh, make the blog post, do the reel, do the Instagram. That's it. And you don't even have to start off with doing all of that either. It could be really, really simple. Just start on Instagram.
I think if you look at any like successful brand that you're following on social media, they do these things. And so I think specifically if your services are photography and you think just slapping a photo is like the bare minimum and that's just gonna like set you apart, it's not, because everyone is doing that.
Yeah.
And so what's gonna set your brand apart from someone else's is making educational content and cycling through these content pillars so that you're like a well-rounded resource hub of things that your potential clients are going to want to follow you
for.
For.
And you seem more experienced to someone. So if a couple is looking like at a wedding photographer and there's someone that's posting all this like educational content, their personality, what they do, all this stuff, and then there's another photographer that they really like that isn't really doing that, they're probably going to pick the one that they vibe most with, and it's going to be the one that's like posting about them, about the photography process and how easy it is and everything. And so just think of it that way too.
Because we're not just selling digital projects, we're selling ourselves, because we are
experience.
We're gonna be there with them on the day of.
Yeah,
so
exactly. So you're selling the experience, you're selling yourself, and so these content types will help with that. And so the next one would be like inspirational content. So this is kind of like motivating and building trust with the people that are following you, and this like includes personal stories, client testimonials, and behind the scenes moments that highlight what your quality of work is and your expertise in whatever you're doing. And so when potential clients see real results and experiences, it helps them envision themselves in your portfolio, in your workflow. And I don't know, to me, like I would want to book someone that's showing up, showing their personality, and being like Miranda, like going to Pilates. I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's my girl. Like I go to Pilates. I want to do Pilates. I love her. She does wedding photography. She's a documentary photographer. And I know this because it's on her Instagram. Right. And so if you weren't posting that, I'd be like, oh, well, she's a good photographer, but I know nothing about her.
Right.
So I do like inspirational content a lot. And again, like examples of this would be like a client testimonial about their experience working with you, maybe just like a little before and after transformation from like a session, or like it could be anything of what your brand is, the behind the scenes of you editing, before and after photos, where you started, how you're doing now, how your editing has changed. Like all of those things are really important for people to see, just to get to know you and know your brand and what you're all about. And so the next one is more relatable content. So like showing that you're the human behind the camera. And that's like the connection that breaks the barrier between business and personal. So like sharing your journey as a photographer, again, more behind the scenes, and just even like fun tidbits. Like I said, Miranda's always posting about Pilates. So that's like a good personal fun thing. It has nothing to do with photography, but it's showing that she's working out, and
I'm a human.
yeah, you're a human, and it's not just like, you're not just a photographer, you're more than that. And so yeah, that makes you like relatable and fosters a sense of community, because people tend to gravitate towards people that are like them. And so I'm going to gravitate towards Miranda because she's a Pilates princess, and not the photographer that's, I don't know, that's like a adventurer,
Hiking.
camping kind of girl, you know? And so that's why it's important to find your community and people, your ideal clients, that way as well, because you're immediately going to know who you vibe with and who you don't. And, you know, clients aren't stupid. Like they're going to know who they're going to vibe with. And so just sharing that is really, really essential too. And so I also have examples of everything too, just to make sure that you guys know what I'm talking about. So some examples of that would be like editing a wedding the day after because you're so excited to see the photos, or like my first photo shoot versus where I am now is like an example of like relatable content. And then again, like showing that you're working out, or if you love coffee, show that, or if you love, I don't know, plants, you can show like the progress of your plants, like anything that's just like relatable and fun that really has nothing to do with photography, but just shows you as a human, which is really cool. I like that content type. That's like one of my favorites. And the next one is entertaining content, humor, trends, and just like storytelling. So this is where you can have fun and let your personality shine. And this is kind of like where you're using humor in a sense of like, you know, there's like real sounds that you can use, and that help you kind of like story tell to keep your audience just engaged. And this is one that I don't really use that often because I don't really do a lot of trending sounds or anything, but I know a lot of photographers that do. It's those ones that I don't even know how to explain it, but they use like a sound and then they caption it like me waiting for a golden hour during an overcast day, and you're just kind of like standing there and the music is like sad, or like something like, you know, something that's like just humor that just like kind of like shows your personality a little bit more. And so that's kind of like what entertaining content would be, or like that awkward moment when you say one more shot but you've already said that like 20 times.
Yeah.
And so using that type of content, and that's really good for like reels, I think, because you can use like trending sounds, and there's a lot of like funny trending sounds that you can use that's not music. Okay, we had some technical difficulties. I think our recorder just stopped recording, so I guess I'll just start with the last and final content type that you can do, and that is selling your services. I think a lot of people forget about this part of their business for some reason. It's like, you have a business, you need to make money in order to survive and live. And so selling your services is a really, really important part of your business. And I know it's like kind of scary for a lot of people to like sell themselves, because you always think of like the used car salesman where it's like super pushy and like annoying, but you don't have to be like that, and you're not like that. So like don't think that it's pushy or annoying. You're a business that has to sell things, and I never look at a business like, I don't know, Rode or like Rare Beauty as like, oh my gosh, they're just pushing their their business on me anytime that they post. Like, no, they're not. Like, you love that brand. That's why you follow them. And so you want to be sold to. And so selling your services should feel natural and authentic and not pushy, because it's really not. You are a business, and that's why people are following you because you are a business. They're not going to follow you just, well, I mean, they could just because, but it's usually because they want your services.
Right.
And so using like a mix of direct and indirect approaches has always worked for me. Is like, so a hard sell would be like clearly outlining your services and how to book your services. So that's a hard sell. And a soft sell would be like subtly weaving your offers into any of the other content types. And again, you don't like have to sell every day, but make sure that you're like implementing some sort of like, hey, go book, or hey, go check out my website, so that people do know to book you, or like you're reminding people like, hey, I only have 3 spots left for my mini sessions, like go book. So it could be as simple as that. It really doesn't have to be anything too crazy. And some examples of this would be like, okay, now booking spring sessions, DM me to grab a spot. So that would be like a hard sell because you're just like, this is what you're doing. And a soft sell would be like behind the scenes story or behind the scenes post that leads into promoting your services. And so an example I wrote down for that would be like, oh, Kelly and Ryan were super nervous about their engagement session, but by the end of the session, they were having fun and laughing, and they got the best photos because, you know, I showed them what to do, or whatever your brand is. And then you go into like, if this is the type of photos that you're wanting for your engagement session, I have availability this month and next month. So make sure to go check out the link in my bio to book a session. And so just using any of the other content types and then going into a sell is really good too. And I feel like it's not as pushy because you're like giving the client like, oh, you know, I don't want to feel super awkward in my photos, or like, I don't want to feel super nervous. And this photographer seems to like kind of, you know, work with their clients and they know what they're doing in order to make like really good photos. And of course, with that post, show the photos.
It's all about storytelling, going back to like the story brand.
Yes.
If you can, when you decide, okay, today I'm going to sell my services, if you can create a story that someone has to like go through, and then the ending is, oh, I am the solution to your problem.
Exactly.
That's how you're going to get people to book with you. Kinsey, our friend Kinsey, does a really great job of this. She will post in her stories on Instagram every time she has a session. She's a branding photographer, and she will literally paint out the story of that brand that she was taking photos of, how they went from not really having any branding photos that describe them and their personality to creating the mood board to showing up on the day of the session. And like she paints a picture of like how that client, like their experience.
Yeah, how they went from not having any good photos of them to having like the best photos of their life.
Yes.
Like, that they want to use them in every marketing and every like post. And so, yeah, that's a good way to story tell and sell.
She'll be like, if you want this like result, like here, I have this many spots open for next month. And like, that's how she gets people to book her.
Yeah, exactly.
And it works really well.
Yeah. So. And if someone's wanting to book branding photos and they're feeling like, oh, no one gets the vibe, no one does this, no one wants it, like they never listen to me, and then there's Kenzie posting that, you're like, oh my gosh, finally someone who gets me. And that's what you want your clients to feel like when they're like, oh my gosh, this is the photographer for me. Like that's exactly how I feel, and that's exactly the results that I want. And that's how you sell. And it doesn't have to be weird or like pushy or just like a used car salesman bothering you. It could be as simple as that.
You literally
make it fun.
Yeah. You have the solution to someone's problem and all they want is it to be fixed.
Yeah.
And how can they fix it if they don't know that you're offering that?
Exactly. That's the biggest thing, because you know you can do it, but they don't. So you have to.
You got to tell people.
You have to tell them. Yes, exactly. And that's the problem when you're not posting things about you or educating your followers on your brand. That's like, I don't know. That's just what you need to do.
Yeah.
I didn't even know where I was going with that. But yeah, that's just what you need to do in order to get people to book your services. Is they need to trust you. They need to get to know your brand. They need to know that you're going to solve their problem that they have.
And a good rule of thumb, I would say, is to do one of those like selling contents like once a week.
Yeah.
Like sell your services once a week.
Yeah, I think that's a good...
Which I need to start implementing because I don't do that
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't. I think that's like the missing piece sometimes, is just like telling people to go to your website, or like giving them a call to action of like where to go and look. And that could even mean like if you have a blog post, getting them onto your website to read the blog post. So it doesn't even have to be just your services, but leading them to get to know you a lot more, so that way they do end up trusting you and wanting to inquire with you too. So it doesn't have to just be like book my services. It can be like leading them to your website to kind of like get your vibe and finally get them on the website and be like, oh, you know what, since I'm already here, I should just inquire and see if it's a possibility that I can book with them. So those are the 5 types of content that you can start posting. And yeah, I mean, that's basically what I'm going to be doing the next 30 days, is just trying to mix all of those up and posting them and getting into the habit of posting those different types of content, because it really does help you stand out, because honestly, there really isn't a lot of people doing that.
No.
Even in our industry.
Slim to none.
Slim to none. And you think people are doing it, but they're not.
Everyone thinks everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
But they're not.
Yeah. So it really will make you stand out, especially if you're just starting out your photography business or creative business, whatever you're doing. It really does make you stand out from the people that, you know, have been in business and they aren't doing that. So.
Yeah. So just to recap, posting a photo every day and hoping it's going to just magically get you leads is not it. It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And if you have a strategy to follow, that takes away like all the stress, and it helps with consistency as well, because if you have a strategy, you can actually follow it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just going back to just being organized and just knowing what you're gonna do, it helps so much, because then you're not just like every day like, oh, what do I post? You're not thinking about that every day, because when you do that, you're like, well, I might as well not post. And then, like me, 4 months go by and you haven't posted a single thing.
Also, when we think about like, oh my God, what do I need to post? I think most of us tend to just get on social media and start scrolling, being like finding ideas to post. And there's like tons of problems with that. One, you're like just scrolling.
Yes.
You're not really doing research.
Yeah.
You're actually just consuming content. Number 2, like trying to just copy someone else's ideas of posting is not going to lead you anywhere either. So I feel like having a strategy gets you off of your phone, gets you into like creation mode.
Yes. Exactly.
And then if you're creating content, like if you decide to do like 3D content and you create one long form content, like that's so unique to you. And then all of the little posts that you make for Instagram and TikTok, they're so unique that it's going to be so different from everyone else's posts, and you're going to stand out even more.
Yeah, exactly. And also just it being a part of your brand, because if you're copying other people and they don't work the same way you do and you're copying their content, your branding and your content just aren't gonna like go together, because it's gonna feel off to the client, because that's not actually how you work. It's because you're just copying what other people do. And so that's I feel like when I first started, that's kind of like what I was doing, is like copying other people's content. But then I just realized like, wait, I don't even do that, or like I don't want to be like that with like my clients or whatever it is. You can be your own person.
Yes, you are your own person.
Yeah.
And I also feel like it's way easier to just like create one little thing, and then if it's coming from like you and your soul, like that's way easier to me than to try and like put on this other persona that I need to create content from because that's what everyone else is doing. Or,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I just feel like that's really hard. And when something's hard, you don't want to do it.
Yep.
And then you'll never post on social media.
Exactly. Yeah, and social media is so easy. It is like, I'm so glad we have social media because, first of all, it's free. You don't have to pay anyone to market. You don't have to pay the knot. You don't have to pay anyone. It's free. You can just do it yourself. And that is like so amazing, because even just like a few years ago, people were like knocking on doors and like having to go to trade shows and like doing all this stuff, when you can just do it from your phone in like 20 minutes and be done. You don't have to like go do all of this work, and social media just makes it easier for you to find dream clients that are like all over the world, and you can do whatever you want. And so social media doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be this like the devil amongst us. It doesn't have to be like this, like, I don't know. I feel like people just have this a hard time with social media. And I honestly have always loved social media. I mean, I literally started on MySpace. Like, I grew up with social media. And so I've never found it to be like, I don't know, annoying. People are always talking about algorithms and all this. I have never once thought about the algorithm ever. Like, I've never been like that type of person. So I just want to like just say, like, it doesn't have to be that hard, and you don't have to make social media the enemy, because it is there to help you. Like, that's why social media exists, is to help other people find your stuff. And it might seem like they're working against you, but like, who, like, it, are they? I don't feel like they are. And people just think that. And I don't know who puts that out into the world, but it really doesn't have to be like this big thing. It just can be as easy as following those content types, doing one piece of content, and then just like not worrying about what the algorithm is, or like what TikTok is doing or not doing.
Yeah.
We just got to stay in our own lane. Stay in our own lane. Not worry about what other people are thinking, not what the algorithm's doing. And honestly, first of all, the algorithm is supposed to be helping you. Anytime they change the algorithm is because they want to help other creators, and I don't care what anybody else says, that's what they're doing. And, you know, we don't have to talk about Mark or anyone else, but, you know, let's just focus on social media helping us and not how disgusting billionaires are. Anyways.
For another day.
Yeah, those were another blog post or something. But anyways, yeah, so just like try not to I guess demonize social media, because it really is there to help you, and it's free. That's like the best marketing tool, is anything that's free and that you can just do at home. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go knock on doors, go to trade shows, go to expos, or anything. I mean, that's how literally I started my photography business, was all through social media. I never went to a networking event. I never went to anything like that in Lubbock. It was just all through social media, and I grew really, really fast through Instagram. And it was just Instagram. I didn't do anything else.
When I first started, I only used Instagram, and all my leads came from Instagram. Because I was relentless. Relentless. And I was consistent.
Yeah, I didn't care. Yeah.
But all my friends, like, I remember people being like, oh my God, Miranda, I see, like, you post 3 times a day, and it's like all my feed. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I literally do not care.
You're not my client.
You're not my client.
I want people to find me. That's what I'm posting.
Yes. If you want to unfollow, go ahead. For it.
Yeah, you're not going to book me anytime soon.
Yeah.
No, it's so true. So I just wanted to like get that out, because I obviously I feel passionate about that, because I do know people struggle with that, of like, you know, Instagram's the enemy and they're out to get us, and the algorithm is, you know, making us work harder and whatnot. Could be that you're not posting good stuff.
Literally.
I'm just gonna say it. And I'm talking to myself too, guys. Like, this isn't just me like preaching. Like, I'm having to like remind myself of these things all of the time. And so I don't want it to feel like I'm just like, you know, preaching at you. I'm literally just saying these things because they're coming to mind, because I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so right. Like, this is what it's supposed to be. Social media is supposed to be easy and fun, not like this hard thing that is like, I don't know, taking us down.
I think it's way more fun, way easier if you have a strategy.
Yes. So, and you're organized. It really is really about organization.
Yeah. So that's your homework.
Yes.
If you're listening to this right now.
Yes. And join me on my little, I don't know, 30-day content.
Yes. We love a challenge.
Refresh or something. Yeah. And I just want you to show up like you have 1 million followers, like you have everything in the world, like you're booking clients left, right, center, and not care about what anybody thinks. I don't care what other photographers think of you selling or anything. They're not your clients. They're not going to book you. They're not giving you money. They're not paying your bills. So who cares?
We should make that into a meditation.
Oh, I know, right? A little ASMR, like just put like the background music like
Yes, a motivational.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like clip that and put that on TikTok. I was really going off on you guys.
That was
I'm sorry.
good.
I'm sorry. I'm just passionate now because I just like feel that since I haven't been posting, I'm like I need to remind myself of these things too. So yeah, that's what our goal is, and hopefully you create a social media strategy too, and hopefully that was helpful for you guys. I know it was helpful for me to like kind of like remind myself of things that you're doing that I need to be doing. And yeah, that's it for today's episode, I think, right?
Yeah, let us know if you have any questions or if you want to talk more about social media, because we love it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's so much more that I can talk about. But I mean, this would be like a workshop or like a course, because not only that, there's so many other things that we can talk about, content pillars and branding and how branding and marketing go together. So there's a lot of aspects that kind of connect with everything, but these are just like the main points that I think will get someone started if they're feeling like me, where they just kind of like need a little refresh, restart, or people that are starting to market their business that need like a little push to start doing it. And this is like the easiest way to do it.
Yeah,
for sure. Cool. All right. Well, I hope that was helpful for you guys. Don't forget to like subscribe and I forgot what I say. Yes, like, subscribe, rate.
Give us 5 stars.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh, I went blank. I was like, what do I usually say? I feel like it usually like flows out of me, and today it's just like, no, girl. Okay, yeah. Like, subscribe, and rate us. And thank you guys for listening. We love you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.